Here we are. It's 2025. It's the last day. And we got the greatest books of 2025. I don't have all the copies here. I was too lazy. The John King and the Paul Auster books. I don't even, this here somewhere. I don't, it's almost like a hassle. But here's a book, 2026. I just read Gilgamesh by a new translation by Simon Armitage. But I mean, you have to. I'm not sure which was the best translation ever, but um, I would say that people that know Latin and Greek and this language, I don't know, Sumerian or whatever it is written in, they probably are better. The older guys and some of these young guys don't even speak Latin or Greek or something. So I don't know. I have to take a look at that out again. But oh, this is an advanced reading copy. So maybe oh, this is a 2026. I thought maybe the hardcover had already come out. So there's that one. So let's go to my list here. So the best ones, best books. Okay, so definitely I spent too much time on that, but you know, Thomas Pynchon. You always got to go with Thomas Pynchon. It's always like a worthwhile book. Check it out. I bought this at Barnes and Noble. It's very mainstream. It's available everywhere. And then we have The Absence by Budgies, Susie and the Banshees. Great rock and roll. I mean, it's written in a weird way. Almost the first 100 pages are all about Liverpool. It has nothing to do with the Banshees at all. So it's really interesting. He had an interesting life up there. And then we have my next book is Into the Groove, the 80s, the Ultimate Decade in Music History by Justin Lewis. Uh, Books about the 80s music. Oh, and then I have this book. This is by a friend of a friend. Hollywood Vampires. Johnny Depp, Amber Heard of the Celebrity Exploitation Machine. Kelly Loudenberg. Makiko Holy. So yeah, I wanted to interview these guys. Like it's a little bit different for me. I don't really read this kind of book, but this is kind of interesting. I wasn't really that tuned into the whole Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing, but this was kind of great relive of that thing. And then we have Of Such Great Heights, the complete cultural history of indie rock explosion. So that's more the 90s and the 2000s by Chris DeVille. So indie rock, maybe that's around 2005. And then we have Fever, the complete history of Saturday Night Fever by Margot Donoghue. It was an interesting book. Saturday Night Fever has a lot of interesting details around it. Um, it's pretty amazing that John Travolta and Lawrence Jacobs did the Welcome Back Kotter together. They're definitely two great actors from the 70s. And then we have Coyote, The Dramatic Lives of Sam Shepard. This kind of by Robert M. Dowling. Kind of reminded me of my love. Made me want to buy a Sam Shepard book, some of his plays. We're connected because we both, I worked at the Magic Theater in San Francisco for about a year. So some of Sam Shepard plays were done there. And then, oh, I have this book. I didn't pull it out, but The Mystery Perception, the conversation with Lynn Tillman. First Lynn Tillman book I've read in a while. Taylor Lewandowski. I interviewed Lynn Tillman myself. She's been a friend for met her probably about 95. And so we get to the poetry. So one of my favorite poetry books of the year is Alibi Lullaby by Norma Cole. Gotta check that, read that again. And here we go. And then the next book, I read a lot of music history books. Burning Down the House, Talking Heads, and the New York Scene That Transformed Rock, the definitive band biography of the 1970s avant-garde by Jonathan Gold. I did read the Chris Franz book that just came out, so this one's like a more in-depth, I mean, like Chris Franz has kind of a beef with David Byrne. So, and then the Shouting Out Loud Life of the Raincoats by Audrey Golden was an interesting book. Not don't know too much about the Raincoats. I mean, I guess they're kind of connected to the Slits, who I know a little bit better. And then, as far as biographies, Gertrude Stein and Afterlife by Francisca Wade was probably my favorite biography of the year. Very big book, 800 pages. I mean, I thought I knew a lot about Gertrude Stein. This book is the definitive book about Gertrude Stein. And then we have this one, Candida Royale and the Sexual Revolution, A History from Below by Jane Kaminsky. So this is good. I've been very interested in 70s porn and the whole scene. Like the funny thing about like a lot of people that did porn were all like my age or 5 years older than me and stuff. Not all, but quite a bit of them. So it's like, so you see these people. Candida Royale, when was she born? I don't know. So when I see the pictures and I hear what they're into, it's like, oh, hey, I was into that. I like that stuff. So, yeah, then we have Eternal Flame, the authorized biography of the Bangles by Jennifer Otter Bykerdijk. She also wrote the book about Nico. I should probably get a copy of that, which I also liked in the last couple of years. So I guess Jennifer Otter Bykerdijk writes a lot of music biographies, and I didn't know too much about the Bangles. I don't have any of their records, I don't think. And then there's A Day Like Any Other, The Life of James Schuyler by Nathan Kernan. Yeah, I've read other books by John Ashbery and Frank O'Hara. And then we have Service, probably one of my favorite straight novels of the Service by, I just saw him read a couple days ago. And at that reading, he read a little bit from this book, then he threw it down and then ended up reading some negative reviews from online. So that was very funny. Another interesting book is The Twilight of Bohemia, Westbeth and the Last Artists of New York by Peter Trachtenberg. There was kind of like this artist commune in Westbeth, which is kind of like Greenwich Village, I guess. I went there kind of accidentally for CMJ. They had some, but I've been there a couple times. They also, I think they also had K-Stop 99 there at Westbeth, the very same place. The Educator by Susan Day. It's definitely like a great novel. Came out early in the year, so very both this and Service came out very early in the year. I think this one was maybe in January, so like maybe sort of kind of under the radar, but it was almost my favorite. I think this is my favorite Susan Day book in quite a while, but kind of made me want to go back and read some of the other novels that I missed. So you should check that out, Susan Day, or all of her books, you know. And I did a great interview with her, and I would point you to that. I might have to make some links to those interviews with Susan Day. I interviewed Budgie from Susan and the Banshees, and I interviewed John King. He wrote a book called To Hell with Poverty, A Class Act Inside the Gang of Four, and I got to see him play like last May. Another, not as interesting as the Gertrude Stein book, but kind of some material I didn't know about. Surreal, The Extraordinary Life of Gala Dali by Michelle Gerber Klein. Dali, or Gala, didn't really know much about her life before she met Salvador Dali. And then also honorable mentions, Paul Auster, The New York Trilogy. This is a editor Paul Karasik, Paul Auster, and illustrator David Mazzucchelli. It's a graphic novel based on his New York trilogy, City of Glass, Ghost in the Locked Room. So I do have it over there, but I have this new bookcase over here, so it's hard to find certain things. So so we're going about 10 minutes. And The Golden Hour, A Story of Family and Power in Hollywood, Matthew Spector. So yeah, I think if this is the same one I'm thinking of, he had a pretty good chapter, or maybe it was this previous book about Tuesday Weld that I liked. Kind of got me interested in Tuesday Weld. Probably one of my favorite actors from that time. And then we have A Man of Taste. I also interviewed this guy, Rob King, not to be confused with John King, but Rob King. What is this? Oh, Man of Taste, erotic cinema of Radley Metzger. He was part of the whole Porno Chic, did some really interesting movies in the 70s, including Camille 2000, Misty Beethoven, The Licorice Quartet, Barbara Broadcast, I think is, kind of got me interested in that actress. Like, she's pretty, like, what was her name? She was in a lot of the films, but I like the actor. I mean, he picked some Italian actresses but I haven't seen all these movies, but maybe I'm thinking of like the later ones. Yeah, that's her right there. Yeah, Ned Haven. I think Ned Haven was my favorite. It kind of changes all the time, but Ned Haven's like my favorite 70s actress. Like, she doesn't seem like she looks like she belongs in like a soap opera or some kind of New York Broadway production, not pornography. So I don't know if she's still alive, or I don't know very much about Annette Haven. I remember the name, but he made a lot of movies. He was a big. He's kind of like the film version of Barney Rosset in a lot of ways. So yeah, I might want to read that book again. So we have the Radley Metzger, and then I threw this in there: American Dreams and Havoc Heaven. I think this is. She has Vanessa Maddox has 2 books of poetry. This is the stronger one. She signed my book, but I never. I guess it's just a little scratch there. Nothing. I thought it's gonna be like some big deal. So, and then my final book, which I just recently read, is The Bright Angels by Patti Smith, and I read M Train and I read Just Kids, but this one was pretty interesting. It was more about her moving to Detroit, and what is this? And I was kind of looking, and there's probably some other books I could probably put in here, because I'm really unorganized, and there's some books I read last December that might be 2025 books and stuff, so I could have probably expand the list, but I'm going to keep it at 25 books. That I think I learned a lot from. I'm kind of what I'm reading now. I'm kind of moving into like a more classical literature phase with the Epic of Gilgamesh and Virgil's Aeneid and Homer, and I kind of want to read Dante and John Milton too. Recently, or in the future. Recently, sounds in the past. I've read a little bit of those writers. Tried to read Dante, but to prepare for the next round of Joyce, Ulysses in the summer, I kind of want to read another. If there's we got a little thumbs up. Hello, everyone. So that's pretty much it for. I was hoping to do more interviews, but I haven't really been pursuing that. I've been like taking classes and doing school stuff, and but G kind of came along and looked at the last one. So I probably only did like 6 interviews in the past year. I was hoping to do, and I think we're up to 57. So I was hoping to do quite a bit more. So I'm gonna post on the Portable Infant. I'm gonna post all the shows I went to this year, and that's my list of books. We already did a video about the records that I thought were good, and then just the shows that I went to. And then next year we'll hope to do some interviews. I mean, no pressure. I mean, I'm not really looking for anything like this, like weird mustache growth here. Okay, so thanks for listening. Well, at some point I'll probably go back and do some book talks about some individual books, but I have some time in the next couple weeks. So I'll do that. So you can look forward to that. Maybe there'll be some interviews. I'm not really, I don't have any plans to read books to prepare for interviews, but it seemed like in the past there was a lot of opportunities. And I want to read that book about My Bloody Valentine and stuff. For some reason, I didn't get a copy and I didn't get a promo. And let's look at my Goodreads. Who is it? Who is it? Oh, it's. Let me look at my Goodreads here. So I just the last book I just read was a book about what was that? It was a book about Daniel Rachel about Nazism in music. So that was kind of interesting. So yeah, I got some of the stuff I'm kind of looking forward to soon. These aren't new books though. B.S. Johnson, Alistair Gray, and then like some of my want list. None of these books. I don't have any of these books. Nobody ever sent me Crash by Ada Calhoun. Yeah, and some of these other ones. I don't have any of these books. So there's probably no. But I do have a lot of books that I bought in the last 3 months that are over there in a pile. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do with those. So thanks again for listening, and we'll be back with more book talk next year, 2026. Can you believe it? Everyone read a book and read the classics and learn Latin and Greek. Okay, that's all I got to say.